Hello, and welcome to a new episode of True Crime Stories. This episode takes place in Nevada, 1985, where a man named Mr. Cotter was going into a normal procedure, thinking everything would be alright. But what happened next would leave him speechless.
What's up, guys? Alright, here it goes. What's up, guys? I'm Dr. Lindsay Smith. Pleasure to meet you. And you guys are?
I'm James Cotter.
And Bonnie Cotter. Dr. Fredericks referred my husband and I to you.
Oh, Dr. Fredericks. So, what brings you in here today?
I've been seeing Dr. Fredericks for years now about these thyroid problems, and it just doesn't seem to be getting better.
And what are your symptoms?
You know, things like I've been really tired, brittle nails, weight gain, constipation, hair loss.
And sexual dysfunction.
I'm so sorry to hear that. I can take care of it. The thyroid problem. So, after reviewing the information provided to me, I would recommend a full thyroidectomy.
Great.
Can you go over some of the complications or some things that we might be expecting?
Nothing major. Maybe some bleeding, minor infection, or recurrent Larry and Gale nerve damage.
Laryngeal?
Yeah, but don't even trip, it'll be fine.
I'm just not so sure about this. This is a huge decision for me and my husband. When would the surgery even take place?
Well, we could bust this thing out right now.
I think we need a moment to speak in private, doctor.
Alright, whatever.
Bonnie, you know, we've been dealing with this forever with no solutions. I think we should really do this.
I just don't understand how we can trust him. He said that he could do the surgery right away, but he doesn't seem to even know the complications for such a major surgery. Are you sure that you want to do this?
Bonnie, you know what? We're doing it, alright? You're a worrier. The man is a professional. He has a stethoscope. They don't just hand those out.
2 hours later.
Alright, here goes nothing.
After surgery, Mr. Cotter came to realize that he could only speak in a whisper. He thought nothing of it, it could only be temporary, because Dr. Smith promised him that there'd be no long-term effects. Well, later he found out that it was permanent vocal cord damage. After seeing multiple other doctors, he realized he also needed a tracheotomy, or he would choke to death. He decided to sue Dr. Smith for everything he had in the court of law.
All rise for the judge. Please be seated. Today we're here for the case of Smith v. Cotter in regards to medical malpractice by failure to inform. We will now hear the opening statements from the plaintiff.
Thank you, Judge. I am here representing Mr. James Cotter, who was operated on January 21st, 1985 for a full thyroidectomy recommended by Dr. Lindsay Smith. Following the surgery, Mr. Cotter could only speak in a whisper. He sought professional advice from Dr. Fredericks, Dr. McFarland, Dr. Dooley, and Dr. Dado, who concluded during surgery that Mr. Cotter sustained an insult to the bilateral recurrent laryngeal nerve, resulting in vocal paralysis. Now that Mr. Cotter needed to get a tracheectomy, he cannot breathe out of his mouth or speak at all, causing permanent disabilities. Dr. Smith failed to inform my client of complete vocal paralysis.
All right, now we'll move on to the opening statements from the defendant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen present, let me tell you about my good friend, Dr. Smith. This is a man who has dedicated his life to science and the pursuit of helping other people. My client was not required by law to obtain written consent in regards to the vocal paralysis Mr. Cotter allegedly suffered. I also would like to throw in that I do host a true crime show from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tune in.
All right, thank you for that opening remark. The plaintiff is now going to be calling Dr. Lindsay Smith to the stand.
Dr. Smith, do you think that vocal paralysis is a significant risk that should be disclosed to the patient before undergoing a total thyroidectomy?
Yes.
No further questions.
Mr. Cotter will now be called to the stand.
Mr. Cotter, were you informed of the complications before the surgery? No. Would you have gotten the surgery if you were aware of the complications? No.
Can't hear you.
After hours of deliberation, the jury finds Dr. Lindsay Smith to be guilty on all charges of medical malpractice by failing to inform Mr. James Cotter. The court is now adjourned.
So is that it?
That's not it. We can appeal it. And we did. We appealed it all the way to the Nevada Supreme Court. Unfortunately, they found Dr. Smith here guilty on all charges and affirmed the district court's findings. So that was it for good old Dr. Smith. But we will see you next time on the next episode of True Crime Story.